Panduit'ten Cosmin, Berariu ve Zacharias Baveas konuşmalarını yapmak üzere sahneye geliyor. Alkışlarınızla.
Good morning. My name is Cosmin Berariu and I'm representing the company Panduit. I'm the Senior Business Manager for Eastern Europe, including Turkey. And this morning I would like to give you a snapshot of what Panduit is and how we are enabling for the future of our network infrastructure solutions. So thank you very much for your attendance and for your attention. And I'm looking forward to see you at our booth, our section there to speak more about our product and solutions. So when we talk about future, definitely we cannot talk about future without a strong historical foundation. And that's what Panduit basically is. So part of our core business is that we are an independently owned company, financially strong, headquartered in the United States of America, in the Illinois state. Basically a company that was built on a strong foundation of research and development and engineering. We have a global presence, but how we would like to say, we act locally. Because our solutions are kind of tailored and customized to the local needs, to our customers. We listen to our customer, we collect the voice of the customer, and basically through our valuable chain of partners and on the ecosystem network we build, we try to serve the local markets. Just at a glance, we are structured in two major business units. One major business unit is network infrastructure, where we are covering the enterprise sector, the data center sector, and the industrial sector. And then we have a business unit which is focusing on electrical infrastructure products, where we are covering either the ICMRO, the industrial construction, and the maintenance, repairing operations, and also the OEM sector, the original equipment manufacturer sector. Obviously, this is glued to the new technologies and the new trends in the market, especially coming from the network infrastructure perspective, where we see a lot of, it started with the Internet of Things, with the Industry 4.0, and all this revolution around technology, information, and IT. And that's where we are focusing in growing our business moving forward. Now that I talked about technology and IT, I think we all see in our cases a disruptive revolution that is happening as we speak. And from a private user to an enterprise user to a public and governmental user, we all see this type of artificial intelligence applications that are shaping around us. In a software applications, cloud-based, easy to use, easy to access through our mobile phones, through our computers, in a private and, as I said, in an enterprise network. I will not go deep into this, but I just wanted to show that actually this is what is driving the innovation for us as a Panduit. So even if we talk about generative AI or predictive artificial intelligence or more complex applications like large language models, deep machine learning, all this is driving our need and desire for evolution, because as we use it privately, the enterprise are adopting it at a much higher rate. That requires that technology keeps the pace with all this. The hardware technology has to keep pace with all this software evolution. Just based on the Forbes research, you can see that the top business owners from an enterprise sector or public sector, they were looking at artificial intelligence to apply it in several sectors. And I can name here customer service, cybersecurity, digital and personal assistance, and all these sectors that will enable an enterprise to be more effective, to be more efficient, to be more predictive, and to reach faster to their customer and to the customer needs. So now, if you take this and put it in an AI startup company scale up, and I highlighted there in green just a few names that maybe all of us are familiar with. If you look on all the other names, it really indicates the evolution of the companies, of the software companies into this space. And even if we talk about those sectors that we saw before in the Forbes survey, like customer service, you see a lot of startups around that. That will enable the large enterprise, the small enterprise, the medium-sized enterprise to be more effective in this space. So if you go on the list, maybe you recognize names, but trust me, the evolution is so fast and it's happening and it's changing so rapidly that all these companies will require a solid infrastructure. And that's where companies like ours, like Panduit, is trying to solve this solution. So now in transition to my colleague's presentation, to Zacharias, I just want to show how we see the data center trends. Basically, the number one trend, obviously, is about this evolution and revolution in artificial intelligence, because it's more a revolution. It's kind of changing the way we were doing things. We were interacting with applications, and we were interacting with our internal or external processes. So just from an artificial intelligence, maybe we only think at the hyperscalers, but now we hear a lot of governmental and public cloud data centers that are adopting this high-demanding GPU setup in their data center facilities. We see also that the edge computing data center will continue to develop and to evolve because the data has to be close to the end users, and definitely we are ready with product sets to serve this market as well. And then thirdly, the prefabricated data center, where you have something developed in an area that basically from an infrastructure perspective is not developed or not up to speed, then this solution comes into play to serve what that customer needs are in that specific geography. So with that, I would like to transition and to hand it over to my colleague Zacharias. He will get you in a deep diver evolution of Panduit into the artificial intelligence sector. Thank you, Cosmin.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zacharias Baveas, and I'm responsible for the technical sales solution across EMEA. And we're going to talk and spend some minutes to discuss how artificial intelligence is reshaping and is creating some additional demands on the physical infrastructure within the data center. So as Mr. Cosmin mentioned before, we have different types of data centers that all of them are required to run the businesses, but we try very quickly in a snapshot to point out here what is the difference between each data center type. We have what we call the artificial intelligence, that they are primarily run on GPUs, and with red highlighted are the points where differentiate from the other traditional data centers of hyperscalers and enterprises. And as you can see, all AI builds will be based on what we call parallel optics, MPO links. The internet communication, network communication will be primarily InfiniBand and Ethernet, but the big changer is down here at this end, where we talk for completely different power capacities and therefore cooling requirements. So moving away from the traditional 9-10 kilowatts per cabinet up to 40, 80, 100 plus. So you understand this creates a need to address differently the data center. There are many speeds today that they're focusing on liquid cooling or cooling on a chip level. Yes, it's a must if you want to support loads above 80 kilowatts. But there is also a big topic that not many people are talking, the power requirements. Because liquid cooling is you install it if you have a qualified company. The question is how to find the available power, okay, to support the list. And this is from NVIDIA website. What is the NVIDIA roadmap and what we're going to see in the future? The top three lines, which is the H100, H200, and the B200, B300, is what is currently deployed. And this is what is driving, what is the average cabinet IT load. You see we start from 40 kilowatts all the way up to 140, very big sizes. And this is what's still to come in the near future. So how we handle all these demands? Are all data centers ready to support these? Maybe New data center builds will take into account these requirements, not for the whole data center, maybe for an isolated dedicated area, but what is happening for the existing data centers. How we deploy AI on existing data centers that are not designed to support these IT loads per cabinet. NVIDIA is the main buzzword that drives this market, creating the GPUs, but you will see all big vendors at the top using NVIDIA GPUs. They have their own setups, their own pre-configured cabinets, because when we're talking about these solutions, most likely it will not be like the traditional way of doing business where everything comes inside the data center and we have a partner assembling the cabinet, make the connections. Most likely these cabinets will be pre-installed, pre-built, pre-commissioned and just come into the data center, plug and play. So how we provision the infrastructure for this to run. What we believe and what we see, the big names, Microsoft, Amazon, Google's, yes, they will invest, they are in the race. Who will first deploy what we call the training models and they invest big money. But when all these models are in place, all the other organizations, small to medium organizations, will have to deploy a kind of what we call smaller scale, inferencing AI in order to stay competitive. And what we believe and what we see is in order for this to be deployed, they will have to spread the load. They have to spread the GPU capacity instead of having a fully populated cabinet that can go up to 80 or 100 plus kilowatts, stay in the range between 40 to 60, where you can still address this IT load with a conventional cooling and you still have available power. So this is a view of a GPU sachet for the B20, 200 and H200, and we indicate the number of connections. So you can see with red, we have the production networks, which all of them, each of them is a parallel optic fiber link, what we call MPO. You have the storage, which is the blue one, and you have also the green, which is what we call the out of band. I don't know how many of you know out of band, the management. The newer versions, they will have for each individual GPU a dedicated out of band. So that means the amount of connectivity to make these systems up and running is increasing exponentially. And we're talking about systems where the uptime is very crucial. When you have a system up and running like this, you cannot sustain any downtime. So how is this impacting the topology within the data center? Along with the network topology, where we're moving from the traditional hierarchy topology to the left, to what we call the rail optimization AI, everything is full mesh in full mesh connections. Why? Because the objective is when we have all these very powerful GPUs running, to eliminate as much as possible the latency, to allow every GPU to be able to communicate directly with the other GPU rather than having what we call an additional network hop going up to the switch and down. So all this together creates a big challenge, how we address topology and connectivity and density of connectivity within a data center, even if we are talking for a very limited number of cabinets. So at the very top we have what we call our host, the network, our spine switches. On the middle layer we have our leaves, and then at the bottom we simulate a 16 rack pod where we have two chassis in each rack, and each GPU have to communicate, be physically connected one-to-one. So first we have our production network, where it's a full mesh, okay, fiber links. And again, I'm emphasizing, we're talking about a pod of 16 racks. Then we have what we call the InfiniBand. Then we have the storage and different systems, our directors, and all of these systems to be able to control them and not impact the production network, we call what we call the out-of-band or management. So you understand this becomes quite challenging, how we deploy how we design, how we provision, how we deploy this infrastructure, and how we make it available when all these systems come into data center to be up and running. So as a company, we have developed some blueprints. We've put a lot of effort, design topologies, to do the mapping, what we call the logical, you saw the previous slide, to the physical, to the actual physical. We're talking about big numbers in terms of connections, different networks, very critical networks, all of them. So depending how the setup you decide to put in place, the setup you decide to put in place, your data center, your existing data center, you may put all your compute and storage at the end of the row, or you may put it in the middle of the row. So we have designed ready designs where we can help you to build, if you are allowed to say, bring cable in your infrastructure. So when the systems comes in your data center, we make very easy the deployment time to have them up and running. And don't forget that we show the roadmap from NVIDIA. These guys are doing a very good job. These things, most likely, whoever deploys this, after 2 or 3 years, they will have to refresh. Besides this, as a company, we, in collaboration with NVIDIA, we have an application guide available. Also, it is on the NVIDIA website with approved and compatible cables supporting the NVIDIA GPUs and a proposed set of products where you can use them to deploy the infrastructure within the data center. Thank you very much. We are outside in our stand. I will be more than happy if you come and spend some time to talk with us. Thank you very much. Enjoy the event. Have a good day.